In this game, Joe, our solo opponent, is playing yellow and will be going first. We'll be playing the Gangster difficulty level, which is the normal mode. As part of setup for a two-player game, human players place a family member on the docks and can take the corresponding benefit. I'll choose the lower left space on the downtown docks, and now I can choose between taking a city tile or an operations card. I'll choose this VIP operation card. Regular setup goes in reverse turn order. So I'll start by buying my still, which costs $5. I'll start with $30 in my safe and $15 in cash. So I now have $10 in cash. I also gain a leverage token for buying the still. I'll place the still into Uptown District 14. I take the city tile that was there and place it on my player board. I have another step to take, but I'll show you Joe's setup while we're on this screen. Joe reveals a district card, in this case it is District 12 in Midtown, and places his still in the left spot. He takes the city tile that was there and places it on his player board. That's it for Joe's setup phase. Finally, as the human player, during setup I can play one operations card from my hand. I'll play this fleet operations card and only gain the benefit in the top left. During normal gameplay, I would also take the action below it. So my benefit is gaining a helper card, and I'll choose this one. I now slot my played operations card into its corresponding spot on my player board, which now only shows the artwork and the permanent leverage it gives me. That's it for setup. Now Joe takes his first turn. We reveal the top card from his action deck. We now resolve the card from top to bottom. First, Joe sends one of his capos to talk with the people at the commission. Joe always chooses the leftmost available spot. Joe also ignores the actions below locations and just does the actions on his card. Next, Joe moves up on his still track. When a player, including Joe, moves up a track on their player board, they also move up on the infamy track. Players start at 5, so now Joe has 6 infamy. Now, Joe produces barrels from his still. How many barrels a player can produce is determined by how far along their still track they are. Joe is at level 2 and can produce 1 barrel. There's no official spot to store barrels on Joe's board, so I'll put them above his still track. Next, Joe places a nightclub on the map. He reveals a district card to determine which district he'll place in. Take note that when Joe reveals a district card with a symbol that hasn't been previously revealed in the current action, it must be resolved. This symbol indicates Joe will place a family member in the Midtown docks. You can see how the symbol matches the Midtown section on the docks board. Joe places his family member top to bottom, left to right, and does not gain any benefit from placing. Returning to the action, Joe will place a nightclub in Uptown District 14. My still is already in the left spot of this district, and so Joe places in the right spot and takes the city tile and places it on his board. This hurts me as I was hoping on getting an early jump on controlling Uptown, which is worth a lot of points at the end of each act. Joe's next action is delivering barrels. We know that Joe only has 1 barrel from his earlier action, but how many could Joe deliver? We look at the fleet track. You'll notice it's already on the second place. Why is that? Joe only has 4 tracks, while human players have 5. So during a solo game setup, a random track is increased by 1. Anyways, Joe can deliver up to 2 barrels, but only has the 1, and will deliver it to his newly built nightclub. But wait, there's a problem. There is a cop in District 14. And until we protect our buildings with family members, neither Joe's building nor mine are considered operating. And the golden rule of Speakeasy is, A non-operating building is the same as a non-existent building. In other words, Joe cannot deliver to this nightclub. And since stills cannot be delivered to, Joe has no delivery options and has to move on to the next action. Joe's final action is selling barrels from his non-still buildings. Since Joe's nightclub wasn't able to receive a barrel, Joe has nothing to sell and must skip this final action as well. So for the moment, that cop really helped us by preventing Joe from scoring this round. That's it for Joe's first turn. So at the beginning of a human player's turn, they may play a helper card if they have one. Fortunately, I do. That's why I played the operations card that gave me one during my setup phase. So I'll play this helper card, which immediately gives me $5 cash, putting me back to $15. Note that a helper card is only played once. I do place it in my safe area because the icons on the bottom come into play in in-game scoring. So now I will send my first capo to the contractor's office. Notice the solid line between the two sides. I have to choose left or right. Left side will give me a book to cook, and the right side will give me a helper card. I'm kind of a sucker for the helper card, so I'll choose the right side. I'll take this helper card because I would like to start getting family members. Now I move to the bottom action. Notice it is in a box indicating that either side can take this action. This action is allowing me to place a still or a speakeasy up to 2 times. I'm going to place 2 speakeasies in the same Uptown District 16. I'll choose the right 2 speakeasies from the group that cost $3 each. So now I'm down to $9 cash. I also take the bonuses beneath each of them. This one allows me to go up any track. I'll choose my VIP track, which the higher you are allows for more family members in your VIP room. So I move to level 2, and of course move up 1 on the infamy track to level 6. The second speakeasy allows me to choose a city tile from the city tile display on the main board. I'll choose this one that allows me to deliver barrels in the future. So I'll place these 2 speakeasies in Uptown District 16, and I'll place these 2 city tiles on my player board. Note that the cop space in District 16 does not have a cop meeple in it, so currently these speakeasies are operating. That's the end of my capo action, so for the last part of my turn, I get to draw an operations card, and I'll choose this one because I may want to go higher on my VIP track soon. Thus ends my first turn. This turn, Joe's action card is a simpler one to process. Joe first goes to the docks, blocking it for the rest of the act. Next, Joe moves up his still track to level 3, which puts him at level 7 on the infamy track. Joe's final action is producing more barrels. At level 3, Joe can produce 2 barrels, giving him 3 in total. There are no limits to the number of barrels players can store. This wraps a quiet turn for Joe. Once again, I have a helper card I will play to start my turn. This allows me to place a family member on the docks or in my VIP room. I'll place them in my VIP room. My VIP track indicates I can have up to 2 family members. Let's see if we can add one more. I'll start by sending my capo to the restaurant. The restaurant determines player order. To go there, I have to discard a card from my hand, and because I want to stay in the second position, I must discard another. I'll discard these 2 cards. Note that the actual player order changes at the end of the round, not immediately. I'm paying 2 cards to stay in second position and importantly to access the powerful restaurant actions. I can choose 2 of the 3 available actions in any order. First, I'll choose to play 2 city tiles from my board. I'll play this one that will allow me to place a family member in my VIP room. The second one allows me to play a still operations card. I only have one, and it allows me to move up my still track to level 2 and level 7 on infamy. It also allows me to produce barrels. I can produce 2 barrels and place them on my player board. I slot the still card and it gives me 1 permanent leverage. While editing, I realized I've already broken the golden rule. My still is in a district with a cop and is unprotected. Therefore, I cannot produce barrels. I'll remove them before I start my 3rd turn. So my second action from the restaurant will be playing an operations card. I'll play this VIP card, which allows me to move up my VIP track to level 3 and level 8 on the infamy track. But what's this? At level 8, players gain a family member. While I would love to put him in my VIP room, unfortunately I'm at my max capacity. So I'll put him in the docks instead. I'll choose the lower section of the uptown docks, and for my benefit I'll take this city tile. Back to the second part of the operations card. And this is the key to the whole turn. I can now take the protection action. I can protect as many buildings as I have family members, and that I can pay the leverage costs to protect each building. Right now I have 2 family members, and it costs 2 leverage to protect each building. So I want to protect 2 buildings, therefore I have to pay 4 leverage. Technically, operations cards are slotted first, so their printed leverage counts immediately, even though I've been visually placing them at the end. This means I have 3 permanent leverage from played cards on my board, and then lastly I'll spend my leverage token to bring me up to 4. So now I'll place my family members next to my chosen buildings to protect. One of my speakeasies, and my still, which now that it is protected, is operational, while Joe's is not. That's it for my capo action, so now I'll end my turn by drawing this card. This ends my turn and round 2. I'll highlight that at round end is when turn order is actually adjusted. So now my token moves back into the second place. And notice this symbol indicates that at this time, players receive $5 for each operating casino they have. Neither Joe nor I have any. Joe sends his capo to the left space of the garage. Next, Joe increases his fleet track to level 2 and infamy to level 8. Joe does not have a VIP room like a human player, so the family member goes to his supply. Next, Joe places a speakeasy, revealing District Card 1, which has this symbol indicating Joe takes a helper card. Joe takes the most valuable helper card of a bottle type he doesn't have. Joe doesn't have any helper cards, so he takes this one worth $20. Now, Joe can place his speakeasy in District 1, or can he? In solo and 2-player games, some districts are blocked and cannot be built on. So Joe continues to reveal more district cards until he can place legally. Joe reveals District Card 3, which also has a helper card symbol, but since Joe already resolved a helper symbol this turn, it is ignored. District 3 is not blocked by a token, but both spots are occupied by another mobster. So Joe is going to take over the upper one. Taking over another mobster for Joe is super easy, barely an inconvenience. Unlike a human player, Joe always has enough strength to take over another mobster's speakeasy. Joe simply replaces the mobster speakeasy with his own and takes any city tile that may be there. Note there is another token here we haven't seen before. This cop token is indicating that at the end of the round, a cop meeple will be placed here. Thirdly, Joe will attempt to deliver his 3 barrels, but remember his unprotected casino is still blocked by a cop. But Joe can deliver to his newly placed speakeasy because as of now, there is no cop in the district. Unlike human players, Joe does not worry about trucks or distances from his still. A building can only hold 1 barrel, so Joe places 1 of his 3 next to his speakeasy. Lastly, Joe will sell barrels from his buildings. Joe's party track allows him to sell 1 barrel. If Joe had multiple buildings with barrels, he would choose a casino or a nightclub first as they provide more money. Joe sells his barrel for $10, as determined by how high he is on the infamy track. Right now, casinos and nightclubs sell at $15 and speakeasies for $10. At higher infamy levels, these values increase. So Joe removes his barrel and gains $10 cash. Note, Joe does not have a safe, only cash. So Joe ends his turn with more board presence and some money. I have no helper cards, so I'll send my capo to talk to the commission. I'll choose taking a helper card instead of increasing a track. Now I will gain an associate mobster. In Act 1, there are 4 mobsters available I can choose to buddy up with. I would like to choose Wakesy Gordon because of his 4 strength that I could hire him for, but he is located in District 15, and I've got an eye on his 2 speakeasies there as potential takeover targets. But if I'm associated with him, I cannot target his buildings. Honor among thieves, I suppose. Instead, I'll go with my second choice of Joe the Boss Masseria. While only offering a potential strength of 3, he has 2 good immediate bonuses. 1, I can place a family member on the docks, so I will place 1 in the bottom of the uptown docks. And I'll take this card as my benefit. And I can place 1 family member in my VIP room. I place my associate marker in his district as a reminder I cannot attack any of his speakeasies. I place the mobster tile on my player board and flip it because I have used the bonus abilities. Finally, I can hire any number of goons I can afford. I'll hire 2 for $3 total, which leaves me with $12 cash. This ends my capo action, so I'll end my turn by taking this operations card. This turn was more about positioning, so hopefully I'm set up to react to whatever Joe does next. Joe wants to go to the commission, but both spots are filled. In solo, Joe always prefers the leftmost spot, but he can't bump himself, so my capo gets bumped to the park and he places his capo in the now vacant spot. At the park, I get to choose between 3 conciliatory bonuses. I'll choose to take a book and place it on my player board. Joe's first action is moving up to space 2 on his VIP room track and level 9 on infamy. For his second action, he gains protection. According to Joe's VIP room track, he can protect 1 building. He has multiple unprotected buildings, so there is a priority formula he follows. First, we check if he has any unprotected buildings in a district with a cop. He does have an unprotected nightclub in District 14, so he'll place a family member next to it to indicate it's protected. Joe ignores any leverage costs. This ends Joe's 4th and final turn this act. Note that without that protection, I controlled Uptown. Now I don't, and that's a significant payout swing. This is why I position for flexibility before my final turn. I will play my helper card and move up to level 2 on my strength track and level 9 on infamy. Now to take back control of Uptown, I will send my final capo to the left side of the city planning office. This allows me to take a second book, and next, up to 2 times, I can place my speakeasies to an empty spot in any available district or take over another mobster's speakeasy. So first, I'll solidify my control of Uptown by taking over the rightmost mobster's speakeasy in District 15. Note, the mobster has a strength of 4, which I have to exceed. So I only have 2 strength, and I could spend my goons for 1 strength each, but for right now, I'll pay my associate mobster $4, leaving me with 8, to support me with 3 strength, giving me the 5 total I need. Now I'll pay the $3, leaving me with 5, to place my leftmost speakeasy, which gives me a free goon. I'll replace the mobster's speakeasy with mine, and take the city tile there and place it on my board. Now I will take advantage of the second speakeasy placement and take over the lower mobster in District 6, which only has a strength of 3. So I just need 2 more strength, which I'll get by using 2 of my goons. I want to place my rightmost speakeasy so I can protect it with the bonus below it, but it costs $8 and I only have $5. Here's where the safe comes in. I start the game with $30 in my safe, but to spend any of it I have to launder it at a 2-to-1 ratio. So to get the $3 I need, I will spend $6 from my safe, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but the winner of the game is decided by the total amount of money they have, so I have to be careful. So like before, I replace the mobster's speakeasy with mine, take the city tile, and this time protect it with the last family member I have in my VIP room. And lastly, to end my turn, I'll take this card. As with the initial board setup, I'm not going to detail all the board state changes during this phase. I'll only explain ones that affect Joe or I in the short term. There are 3 steps in this phase. Step 1, Mob War. During the Lucky Luciano phase, any face-down mobster district tiles are revealed and replaced by actual mobsters. These mobsters immediately launch an attack on all player buildings, including Joe's, within those districts. One district was empty, and so mobster speakeasies were placed in both spots. But in District 12, Joe has his still. So Joe has to defend against the takeover. Joe doesn't worry about strength, but he does have to pay to defend up to the attack strength, which is shown by this tile that replaced the mobster district tile. So Joe pays $6 to defend his still. 2 things to note. Although only one building was attacked this time, if Joe or I had multiple buildings being attacked, we had to defend each one separately. Secondly, for Joe, as long as he is able to pay at least $1 to defend, he succeeds. So Joe would only lose buildings if attacked and he had $0 to defend with. The second spot was empty, so the mobster places a speakeasy in that location. 2 more mobster district tiles are randomly placed. These will be revealed during the next Lucky Luciano phase at the end of Act 2. Step 2, Cops Patrol. The 4 cop tokens on the board are replaced with cop meeples. This has an immediate effect in District 3, as Joe's speakeasy is not protected, so it is now not operating. Also, 4 more cop tokens are placed on the board to be resolved at the end of Act 2. I'll just highlight that one was placed in District 16, so something I need to be mindful of because of my unprotected speakeasy. Step 3, Payout Zone Control. I'll go through downtown in detail and more quickly through the others. We check for control in each district in ascending order. District 1 is blocked, so no one controls it. District 2 has 2 mobster speakeasies, so it is controlled by them, so we move the red cube up 1 space. District 3, Joe and a mobster has speakeasies with a cop present. Mobsters are unaffected by cop presence, but Joe's is not operating because of the cop. So the mobster controls this district and the red cube is moved up another space. District 4 is blocked. District 5 has no buildings, so no one controls. District 6 has a cop, but my speakeasy is protected. Basically, a player having an operating building beats a mobster speakeasy. So I control this district and move the blue cube up 1 space. So according to the payout chart, the mobsters in first place would get $30, but neutral mobsters don't collect any money. I'm in second, so I get $20 to my safe, putting me at 44. Note, Joe is not in third place because he doesn't have any control. Midtown. District 7 is controlled by mobsters, moving their red cube up. Districts 8, 9, 10, and 11 are either blocked or empty. Lastly, District 12, Joe has an operating still and a mobster has a speakeasy. But again, any operating player building beats a mobster's building. So Joe's cube moves up 1. So according to this payout chart, Joe gains $10. Uptown. District 13 is blocked. District 14, I have an operating still, but Joe has a more valuable operating nightclub. So Joe controls this district. District 15, a mobster has a speakeasy, but I also have an operating speakeasy, so I can control this district. District 16, I have 2 operating buildings, so I control this final district. So for the uptown payout, I receive $40, putting me at 84. And Joe receives 30. So remember, just by protecting his building with his last action, Joe effectively gained $30. Anyhow, this ends Act 1. If you'd like to see the rest of the game, leave a comment below. And as always, please like and subscribe.